Welcome. Today I'm just going to show you briefly how to use the peening jig that we sell online to peen your blade so you're ready to mow. What you need is a hammer. It doesn't necessarily matter the shape of the end or anything. You don't need anything special. Probably 400 to 600, 800 grams, nothing too heavy. Of course you need a scythe blade. It helps if it's not too rusty or dirty. Generally it's nice to keep your blade clean. Then you need your peening jig. It has two caps which fit on there. On the edge of here I've got a little nail where I can put one of my caps. So the first thing you need to do is to drill a hole inside your block of wood. And then what you need to do is to place this in the block of wood, and don't, whatever you do, bang on the top with the hammer. What you need to use is a piece of wood, a trunk of wood like this, and bang, or I just use the end of the hammer. So we bang that securely into the pre-drilled piece of wood, and then we're ready to go. As you can see, I've just made a very simple little stool with two legs at the back and a large stump at the front. You can see there's a little nail on the side where you can mount one of the caps. Very simple, you can do it yourself. Okay, now how to hold the scythe blade. First let's remove that cap so it's out the way. We want to hold the scythe blade like this, with the blade pointing towards us, and in this way, when we hold it on top of here, you can clearly see if both sides are level. Okay, that it's not this way and it's not that way. And we want to hold the blade straight and level and consistently. We'll use our two knees either side to rest, and that's why it's important to get the height of the stool and the block here just right for your height. So if you're a bit shorter than me, you might need to cut the legs off and a little bit off here, or put some pieces of wood under your feet. If you're a bit taller, you might need longer legs and a longer block here, or to remove something from the bottom of your legs. The other thing to quickly mention is there are actually two caps, two different caps. This one is the one you'll use first. It has one line. This has two lines. You'll use that second. The one with one line, it takes a larger, if I can call it a larger bite out of the blade. It bites further from the edge, whereas one with two is what you use secondly, and that just it changes the shape of the very edge of the blade. So simply put it on top of there. Of course we want to keep this metal here and the caps free from rust, and we want to store them out of the rainy area. You know, just like our scythe blade, look after the quality things that we've bought, and they'll look after us. So with our number one cap on, we place it underneath here. We make sure that the blade is level, and so what we need to do when we're holding the blade, we hold it so that the blade is towards us, as I've mentioned already. So, and the reason is because we can see if both of these sides are level, and we don't want to have it too high on one side or too high on the other side, or we don't want to have it rocking like that forwards, or we don't want to have it too much tipping up, because otherwise we're going to bend and deform the edge so that it curls up like that, which isn't good. And however we hold it, we need to hold it consistently and carefully. We need to apply a small amount of pressure on the blade this way, so that the edge of the blade is pushing on here, but not too much, because otherwise that could unnecessarily deform the edge of the blade. So what we'll do is put our cap number one on, and we'll have a little go. And the other thing, as we are banging with the hammer, we need to move the blade just slightly to the left or right, whichever direction we decide to go in. And of course, like everything else, try to do it consistently and evenly, and to get a nice pattern going. And you can probably see just here, if you're zoomed in, you can just see the deformation which is occurring thanks to this blade here. So you should be able to see that. We do that down the whole length of the blade, and once we think we've finished with cap number 1, we change it over, and we can start and repeat the process with the cap which is marked with 2 lines on it. So we just and as we get the blade thinner using the first cap, then we progress on to the second cap with 2 lines. We put them on there, and this bites less onto the blade, and it just does the very edge there, and this is for peening the very edge. So we repeat the process, banging evenly and consistently as we move the blade across. Of course, making sure that both sides of the blade are in contact with this platform here. So here you can see I'm using my left knee to support this end of the blade, and as I get to this side, I'll use my right knee to support the edge of the blade. All the time making sure that the left and right side of the blade are balanced on this desk. Just carry on a bit more. You might notice that instead of sliding the blade across my trouser leg and potentially cutting my trouser leg, I'm actually moving my knee with the blade. Okay, and then when you've moved so far and your leg can't go any further, simply reposition it, and then you can go a bit further. That means you can peen in your nice trousers. These aren't so clean and tidy, but you don't have to damage your clothes any further, or cut your legs if you've got shorts on. If you're unsure what kind of power to use, like many things, it's better to do it gently and softly if you're not sure, until you see what the effect is, if you damage the edge of the blade or not. And of course, as you get more confidence, you can do it with more velocity, more force, and pick things up. And of course, if you're doing it softly, just repeat it many times for the same kind of effect. Once you have finished peening the edge with the peening jig, what you need to do, because a side effect of pushing the edge of the blade onto this metal post, it rounds the very edge of the blade just slightly. And what we need to do before we can actually go and mow, and before it's really sharp, so this is a very important final step which is often ignored or overlooked, is to actually use a synthetic whetstone, or very gently a metal file, and we just need to work the edge a little bit. Remove that small rounded edge created by the metal pole in the middle of that jig. I won't do it while I'm talking, but we need to do a motion like this, and then on the other side to remove the piece of metal when it gets curled over. It's called a burr in English, I believe. We just use a more smoothing motion like that. Let's see what it looks like. And then just to remove the burr on the other side. The other thing you can do just using your fingernail is just sort of pluck it as if you were plucking the strings of a guitar, and you can feel the bead of the burr on the very edge, and it would either it will be smooth and your finger will come straight off, or you'll feel a little burr on the edge. And if you can still feel the burr, if you can feel the string of the guitar, then you need to do a little bit more of this. So I felt a little bit more there, so I'll just get rid of that. Yep, that's much better. The other thing is you need to make sure whenever you're using the whetstone, it's a whetstone, it should be wet. Thank you very much. I hope that has given you a heads up on how to use your new peening jig. Either you bought it from us or you're thinking about buying it from us. I wish you luck in your endeavours with mowing. Just a reminder, if you look after your equipment, keep it in the warm and dry. Well, it doesn't have to be warm, but keep it dry and look after it, and it will look after you. So thank you very much for joining us, and good luck.